Welcome to the Aha Moments Radio Show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened living worldwide with your host, Mariana Cooper, founder of Aha Moments International and AhaMomentsWorld.com. Tune in for the next hour and learn to trust your aha moments to lead the way to live a passionate and purposeful life. And now here's your host, Mari.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Aha Moments Radio Show for the inspiration, education, and celebration of enlightened living worldwide. I'm Mari, and happy Tuesday. We are rocking and rolling. Happy fall. Happy Rosh Hashanah. I'm sure the people who are celebrating Rosh Hashanah might not be listening in tonight, but you'll hear it on the podcast. And it's just a great time of year. I like it when we have progress, like, oh, thank God, when things are just starting to move forward. And I'm sure you're feeling a lot of that. And it's going to get even better after Thursday because we are going into the new moon, which means that the moon is getting darker each night, so we have less and less moonlight. And you can get very tired when we have less moonlight. Women in particular are very aligned with the lunar energy. We need moonlight more actually than we need sunlight, our bodies and our energy fields. And so as we get to the darker moon, it's very like everything kind of slows to like, it's like a buffering computer. And so Thursday is the new moon of this week, and that once we get on the other side of that, things should really start to push forward for you. We're in fall harvest time, so you should start to see results from all the seeds that you've planted all year, and start to batten down the hatches for the winter. I know here in San Diego it's not as severe as what I used to batten down for in New Jersey, but the seasons happen nonetheless, and the cycles happen. So tonight we are going to be talking about one of my favorite topics. I have not talked about this on a show, dedicated a show to this before, but with all that I've been doing here in the new location, the channeling energy has been off the charts. And there are actually well over 1,000 channels in the Southern California area, which I was really surprised to find out. But, it's for good reason, because the energy here is just, and it's very easy to access channeling energy. So tonight we are going to talk all about this phenomenon, and we're going to talk about a new course that I'm starting to teach next week for advanced light workers called Opening to Channel. It's a 7-week intensive, 90-minute classes, over 10 hours of classes, and it's all going to be on the phone, online, you can or Skype. And you can learn about that at AhaMomentsWorld.com/channel, CHANNEL. And I bring that up because this is something that on our surveys we had hundreds and hundreds of requests for. I'm only taking 20 people in this class because it's a very intensive class and detailed, and I want to make sure everybody gets their special attention. And the first 10 people who register get a private mentoring session one-on-one with me. So I'm bringing that up at the top of the show so that, you just know that that's available to you. It's the first time that I'm actually teaching a major course like this in a very long time. Couple of years I haven't really taught this level of course. I've been holding back, and now it's all systems go. So why channeling? And channeling is different than psychic information. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about some of the modern day channels that you might be familiar with, and what's the difference between channeled information and other types of spiritual information. So we're gonna get into that. Just a couple more announcements, and of course, the first announcement is we are doing readings tonight. So if you'd like to call in for a reading, and I see you're already making Sam very busy because you're filling up the lines really fast, the number to call in is 347-215-9485. It's 347-215-9485. So you can go ahead and call in and just hang in there because we will get to you once we get some of the content covered. Another couple other special announcements. Besides the course, the Are You a Special One quiz. It's free. I really, if you're new to the show, if you're coming in, we're starting to syndicate in some other stations and things now. If you're new to us, take the quiz. It's ahamomentsworld.com/special1 quiz. And it is really very telling and helpful for you to find out some of the characteristics and things that you might, the symptoms of being a light worker, if you will, that you might be going through that might seem really weird to you, or you might be blaming yourself for some things that are really just an indicator that you're a spiritual leader, a way shower, a leader of leaders, a sensitive, a light worker. There's a lot of the things that we call the special ones, as the angel coined you. and that quiz has been taken by hundreds of people, almost 1,000 people. We're getting close to 1,000 people now have taken it, and it's really powerful to get that information. So I really encourage you to take the quiz. And then there's a follow-up product, if you so choose, called the AHA Treasure Chest that goes way in depth on all the different things you can do to support you with the different symptoms that you might be having, and how to move forward as a light worker. And the other big announcement is that we are going to be doing a live retreat. Yes, we're going to be coming out there in the flesh, and we'll be doing a live Summit by the Sea 2015 retreat in March of 2015. I'm sorting it out now, trying to sort out exactly the content and all that kind of stuff, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out there to you that we will be doing something live in La Jolla, California. So it's very beautiful on the ocean. I know one thing we'll be doing is going to the meditation gardens that I've been talking about. And, so we'll just stay tuned for that. I just wanted to throw it out there, let you know to start percolating on that. If you'd like to come and get some sun during the winter months, we'd love to have you. And we'll get more details up about that in the coming weeks, probably within the next 4 weeks or so. And then finally, we are now available on another station. We're available on TICHER.com. And this show will automatically upload to Stitcher, so you'll be able to listen to it live and to it as a podcast on Stitcher.com. And they're terrific because they have an app that you can download onto your iPhone or your Samsung phone or any of your mobile devices, let's put it like that, your iPads and whatnot. So you have an app that you can just tune right into the show. You don't have to go searching and hunting for it. And the podcasts are going to be up there for free. And there's all kinds of stuff going on Stitcher. So go over to Stitcher.com. I'm excited that they took our show on. Very, very popular site. And we're looking forward to having a great partnership with them. And we'll also be on iTunes shortly and YouTube. So just expansion, fall energy. So we're working on all of that. Okay. So, again, the number to call in is 347-215-9485. And I think that's it for the announcements. And let's get into the content because this is some good stuff. First of all, let's talk a little bit about what channeling actually is. So we have what I call synthesized information, which is when someone like, let's say, a Wayne Dyer goes and he reads the Tao Te Ching, and he reads it and he synthesizes it. He simplifies it for us. He takes out what he gathered from it, how he applied it to his life, and then he writes a book about it. So it's synthesized information. Doreen Virtue does some of that too. And a lot of people have, biblical, taken the Bible and like Joel Osteen, right? And they take a text, an ancient text, and then they break it down for us and help us to be able to apply it to our lives in a modern way. And so that's synthesized information. And then you have what's called channeled information. And that is when a person has the talent, the capabilities of going into a trance state or an altered state. Doesn't have to be a full trance. There's conscious channeling. There's all different types of channeling. I'll get to that in a second. And they get information that's basically downloaded from the collective, from the other side. Okay, so what we have is someone like Abraham, or with Esther Hicks, Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon. What they're doing is they are opening themselves up to be sort of cell phones for us, between us and the other side being the non-physical realms, okay? And there's lots of different realms that they can pull information from. Some of them pull information from the elementals, from the devas, from the fairies and that type of thing, but most, will pull information from what they call a group consciousness, which is a group of beings who come together, a collective consciousness that comes together. It's kind of like you're in my audience now, right? So I'm, let's say, on this virtual stage and you're in the audience. Well, if I was channeling, then there's an audience on the other side of the veil that's energetic, and they represent as one name. So Abraham is actually a collective. Cryon is actually a collective. They give us one name, so we respond to them with ease, but it's thousands of beings who collectively provide us with information. So that's why you can ask Cryon all kinds of questions, and he can give you all kinds of answers, because it's from a collective of experts, of non-physical experts. So Lee Carroll acts as a conduit of that information, as well as the Knight, as well as Steve Rother. There's thousands of channels, but Edgar Casey was one that people are very familiar with. Jane Roberts, who channeled Seth. Sanea Roman channels Orin, O-R-I-N, and there's many, but the real successful ones have really been super powerful in supporting society in gathering the next step. And they help to download new energies, download new ideas, download thought processes, download warnings a lot of times. They help us to sort of direct our physical, choices, so that we get we can maximize the energy that's available to us. They let us know when there's going to be big shifts in energy. One of the reasons why everybody knew about 2012 was because of channeling. It wasn't, and those channels date back thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So, the art of channeling, if you will, is dating back. It's part of every single culture. They're called different things. They're called prophet seers. They're called sensitive. There's whole movement, the spiritualist movement. They're called mediums. There's a lot of different channels. Now, the reason why their names are different is basically because of their cultural orientation. Their various, we call them spiritual texts, like, the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, those type of things. But what's really happening is we have an entire energetic side of ourselves, right? So we have our physical incarnated self, that little symbol of a body, and we have our big ball of energy, our true self, our big, total, vast, infinite version of ourselves. So we call that the higher self. And for most of us who are spiritual teachers, we refer to that as the higher self. You'll hear that. And so you have your higher self, which is your full self, and then a part of your higher self chooses to take on a physical life, right? And so what you do is you take on a body, and you have what we call an incarnation, where you are incarnate, but you are within the meat of the body, incarnate, okay? And so then, but there's a big, huge portion of you, much more of you, is not housed in the body. It's around the body. It's part of the excursion of you. So the basic communication language that swings, the pendulum that swings between the incarnated you that has your physical mental mind and your physical consciousness with your incarnate conscious mind, okay, speaks to that higher version of you. That language that we use to speak to that part of us that's not in our bodies but is helping us to navigate our physical body is intuition. So that's the language of intuition, is the language that both of us get. The higher self gets intuition, and we get intuition. A lot of times in our physical incarnated self, we're not taught the rules of intuition, but we all have it. So there's no special skill. Some of us are more fluent in intuitive work than others, okay? So that's our personal communication system. That's how we communicate with our higher self, and our higher self with what we call the four clairs: clairaudience, clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience. Clairaudience is when you hear, a word or phrase or lyrics of a song going over and over in your head. So it's an auditory, energetic sense. You have the sense of sight, which is the déjà vu, which is, having sort of prophetic visions, daydreams, getting a smattering of vision even in your dreams. That's clairvoyance. Then clairsentience is that gut feeling when you feel something in like your solar plexus around your belly button. And claircognizance is when you know in every cell of your body that something is true. You know how to do something without really knowing how to do it. A lot of times without having been taught it, or you just have a knowing about something, and then it's real. Okay, so those are the four clairs. Generally, those have two purposes. One is it's for your own personal communication with your higher self. Okay, that's your intuitive senses. They're overlaid over your physical senses. Number two, it's how if we're doing a psychic reading, how psychics source their information. They source it through the clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognizance. That's how they source. Now, channels are generally, in many cases, not particularly psychic because they're sourcing their information from a different point. The channels source their information because, remember, a channel like a Lee Carroll, someone like Lee Carroll or Esther Hicks, is a body, they're a human being, that allows their body, their apparatus, their vessel to be used by this, I don't want to say entity because people get scared of that word, but this being, this collective consciousness comes through the body and speaks. So you're getting it from on high. So it's like Abraham comes through Esther. Esther, her consciousness, her conscious version, because, remember, we're just energy inhabiting this kind of physical apparatus, right? So then Abraham comes through. Esther is still there, conscious, awake, and all that, but she moves over and she allows them to use her body to speak to us and get us information direct. That information doesn't necessarily come from the clairs. It actually comes from a particular point where it's called the appendage point, and it's actually kind of another chakra area. It's an opening and it's an energetic opening, okay? I don't want you to think you have a hole in your back, but it's between where your neck connects to your back. So there's like an energy field there where it's almost like a veil, and when you have what we call a channeling contract, or the capacity to channel, to be one of these folks who lets information come through you, and it's not a possession, or because you always have your fuel, you can turn it off, turn it on, turn it louder, turn it softer, or not do it at all. So it's nothing like that. It's nothing evil or possessed or anything like that. It's more of a sharing. But that information sources from that area, so it sources from the base of your neck, and as opposed to psychic information, which sources from those four clairs. Now, when you're getting into the channeling per se, that people kind of know if they're a channel or not. They have a sense of it. They have a sense that that it's intriguing to them. There's a sense of excitement. They like to go to channeling sessions. They like to write and feel like, wow, they're sensitive to it. There's a sensitivity to, I just got an insight. That wasn't me. That was from something greater or something other than my mental mind. They sense it. You start to perceive it. And it feels different than kind of a psychic hit, because psychic hits are based on, kind of predicting various parallel worlds or parallel versions of ourselves, and if all things stay the same and you continue down the same road, what would be likely to happen based on all these potential outcomes that could happen. And so psychic information, quite frankly, is not as accurate as channeled information, if you have a good channel. Okay, there are, like anything else, there are some crackpots out there, so you want to be, you want to stick with the good ones. But I have found over the 20 years that I've been going to channels and just for my own personal work and channeling myself, because I do have a channeling contract that was upgraded since I've been here, that you will have there's a certain I can't put this down kind of thing. Now, in addition to that, who channel or who have a channeling contract have some sort of crescendo that makes them want to do that or opens them up to it. Now, in the old days, I mean like the 70s and 80s and before, a lot of times people who were channels would have some near-death experience or some sort of car accident or some kind of something that would make them, boom, kind of slam into the energy and open them up, and boom, they have this connection and they know it's real and they can see the division between themselves and the guide, and that it took some big thing. And that actually made a lot of people not want to channel because they were afraid, like, oh my God, do I have to go through a car accident to get this thing going? I don't think so. I'll pass. But that was only because the energy on the planet wasn't supportive enough yet for you to access it with ease. It was such a different energy. The vibration was so much higher from the channel, and our vibration here on Earth was so much slower that you had to have some big, like, pop, boom, some big explosion through the veil because the veil was so much thicker. But since we have had so much shift and we've had this constant acceleration that all of the channels have been talking about for the last 25 years, the veil is thinner now. The frequency is so much faster. So it's like in 1950 when television started, the kind of big, like first we had the big radios, right? And then it goes into television, and then now look at what television has turned into now, right? We have all digital and high def and all these different things, and the frequency is so much faster, right? So you can have, thousands of channels instead of just 2 channels or 3 channels like we did when it started. You have full color, you have HD, you have all kinds of stuff. Well, it's the same thing with the energy. Wouldn't it make sense that our frequencies, our energetic evolution, would go along with all the other evolutions that we're going through, right? And so energetically, we have a lot more access to these guides than ever before in history, and we don't have to get beaten up or halfway killed to get access to the information because the frequency is there. That is one of the big reasons why my guides have asked me to teach this class and to bring this out to you guys. And why we had to, they start off with, we want you to do this special one quiz. I'm like, okay. Now we want you to explain the special one quiz. I'm like, okay. So I channeled this whole product. Now we want you to teach this now that we're finding these special ones, we want to let them know this access they have to us, because there are gazillion channeling contracts out there that are lying dormant within your energy, that we want to come forward, because it's just going to make easier if we can co-create, if we can communicate together and work this whole life thing out in unison with each other, instead of you guys being physical, the physical ones putting the energetic ones on a pedestal and praying up to us or over to us. They want us to recognize that we are one of them. We just communicate, we just have this physical body, and they don't. Well, guess what? They need you as much as we need them, because they can't really get much done here unless some of us are willing to commune with them and translate. Be willing to be the translators to the humans, right? So we have this education process, obviously, that needs to come forward, which is what this is. And we have processes. And the processes are much easier. You don't necessarily have to go into a full trance. I know some of you might be familiar with Shirley MacLaine, who did a mini-series called Out on a Limb. If you Google Out on a Limb, you can actually get DVDs from like Australia or something of the show. I actually did. I don't know if they're bootleg or not, but I got them because my videotape, my mom studied with her, and I got this videotape of the show and everything. And so when the VCRs kind of went, defunct, I got the thing on DVD. But she had a channel on there named Kevin Ryerson. And Kevin acted as himself, and he channeled various beings. He channels an Egyptian priest. He channels an Irish pickpocket. He channels, various beings, and they really help Shirley on her path. Well, Kevin Ryerson is one of my advisors, and I have sessions with him myself. And the Egyptian priest has talked to me, and all these different people, these guides these entities that he brings through. Unbelievable, you guys, absolutely unbelievable. I'm trying to get him on the show. So wait, am I on? Sam, did you lose me? The energy is really high. Just let me know if we're still on. Okay. So anyway, I have Kevin on. I'm trying to get him on the show. We're going to see if we can get him on within the next few months. But in any event, it's really, really powerful to get that that whole type of information. It's a totally different thing. It's very, very powerful. So in the grand scheme of things, what I really, and you can tell the passion I have in my voice about this, I would love for you guys to step forward if this resonates with you. Now, you don't have to go and do public channeling like what I'm doing, and Abraham and Esther and all that. But what you can do is learn more about it. There's actually a magazine. If you go to Barnes and Noble or to the major bookstores, I think you can get it online as well. It's called the Sedona Journal of Emergence. It is actually kind of the preeminent magazine for international channels, and the really good ones are in there. Lee Carroll writes for it every single edition. Steve Rother, who channels The Group, it's a collective called The Group. He's usually in there. There's a bunch of them that channel for that magazine, and I was actually asked to channel for the new year, so I'll be in the magazine in the December issue. So you can go to the Sedona Journal of Emergence, and you can just get familiar with it. And this is, you'll see all different people have all different takes on it. You have to go with what resonates with you, what resonates for you. But it's really, really amazing. And if you can get to any of these folks in person, if you can get to Kevin Ryerson, or you can get to Esther Hicks, or you can get to Lee Carroll, or you can get to I know Daryl Anka used to do Bashar. I don't think he's doing channeling anymore. He's been on the show. And Lazarus is another one that was very popular. If you can get to them in person, it's an amazing experience, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay and Doreen Virtue all go to these channels, and a lot of this big wisdom that comes from them is coming from the channeled information, which is kind of the raw information, and then they smooth it out and polish it up and bring it to us. So these big, prolific leaders that we have are relying on the channeled information themselves as well. Some of the ways that channeling can help you, in addition to, things like, the bigger predictive types of things, channeling happens for most of us, and we don't even realize it. Like artists, when you start getting these big, beautiful ideas for a beautiful painting or a picture or a sculpture, most artists are channeled. They don't realize they're channeling, and they're not, invoking the guides, but a lot of them do. But when you get that kind of transcendent feeling, like you lose sense of time, like you have the muses are with you. I know I get it when I'm writing and stuff. It just feels like energy is just supposed to pour in. That's that channeling energy. It's not a psychic energy. It's that a different force field altogether. Athletes get that. They get in the zone. They call it being in the zone. That's a channeling. Scientists get it. All these big inventions and ideas and hunches for research and cures and everything, hello, it's not coming from their mental minds. Our mental minds are limited to what we've been exposed to. Those hunches, like maybe we should try it this way. Ding, 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 ding. That would be coming from the non-physical collective that's saying, okay, the non-physical can access the energy of everyone on the planet who needs it. Every single person who has cancer, there are beings who are in the energetic form who know the energy imprint and the needs of every single person who has cancer, and they go to the various doctors, researchers, scientists, and they will whisper in the ear, or whisper actually through the appendage point and say, this way, try this. Now, of course, they're combating the mental, skepticism and it can't be that way because it wasn't that way before, and all those things that get in the way. But hopefully, as we get our smaller microcosm adept at this, there'll be more of you who are leaders of leaders and teachers of teachers. And, the scientists are kind of always the last ones to know about a lot of these things. Then they make a scientific discovery, and then, now it's allowed to be true. But from the energetic side, this is where the information is coming first. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully it's piquing your interest. It's wetting your whistle a little bit, making you curious. There are all different types of channeling. I'm just looking at the time. I'm not going to get into a bunch of them now, but the two biggest ones are trance channeling and conscious channeling. Most of you are going to want to do conscious channeling, which means that you don't have to put yourself into like a hypnotic state and allow this being to sort of use your body to move around and all that. You can very consciously be present and then also be able to tell the difference of, the non-physical energy that's speaking through you versus the physical energy. A lot of times you'll hear me on the radio show, because I always call in my channeling guides. You'll hear me on the radio show or even in the private sessions, and I always tell everyone, I'm going to call in my channeling guides, and then I'll talk to you about your guides. And what I do is all of my readings are generally channeled. I do access information psychically, we'll do a little predictive stuff, but I really stay more in that channeled state because that has more meat to it. It's not about me analyzing the potential directions you might go someday, but getting to this information that they know your energetic imprint. These guys know what you really need that's going to turn the key and start the engine and get you going down at 100 miles an hour. Okay? So I stay in that channeling space. But it's conscious. So I can talk to you as Mari, and I can talk to you as, this non-physical. Now, what's the difference between that and multiple personalities, okay? Or some, because people are like, okay, is she really, like my mother was saying, do you think you're having a psychotic break, Mariana? You have all these different ideas. And I'm not having a psychotic break. First of all, I have a degree in psychology. I was in the mental health for 9 years before I even got my MBA and became a businesswoman and then, started all this spiritual stuff. I'm very familiar. I'm med certified. I used to commit people to, mental institutions and all that kind of stuff in my early career. So I'm very familiar with the difference between mental health, chemical imbalance, and a channeling contract, two completely different things. One is based, multiple personality, schizophrenia, that's all based on a chemical imbalance. It's not based on an energetic situation really at all. So the two different things. Now, if you do have any kind of issues with schizophrenia, if you do, and this is just purely for your own personal safety, if you do have any kind of issues with any type of schizophrenic or chemical imbalance where you're having any kind of altered states from a chemical imbalance, you want to stay away from doing any kind of psychic work or channeling work until you are really, really secure in your med program and you're very safe in that way. So, and I'm very careful with when I teach who's in those classes so that nobody is in a position where they're triggering something that's based on a chemical imbalance. This has nothing to do with that, okay? This is a very legitimate, ancient tool that is coming up in a much more broad and open way because it's giving us access. Always know that there are always they call them scouts. Energetic scouts. So Esther Hicks and Lee Carroll and all these guys, they were scouts for us. They were the ones who sort of laid the groundwork. Seth, Jane Roberts, they gave us our history. They gave us our backbone. But they always come in, and then the masses will ultimately be able to do it, right? Because these are tools that help us to navigate. And most importantly, when you learn how to do this, if this is something for you, you help the whole planet move forward. I mean, imagine if everyone this could be a mainstream skill like arithmetic, and how many inventions would actually get done? How many songs would be sung? How many books would be written? How many cures? How many solutions to some of these really homelessness, animal abuse, child abuse, relationships? How much of this could actually be smoothed out? Things working like with radiation and Fukushima. How do we clean the oceans? Well, guess what? If you have a channeling contract, they will help us with all of those things that seem to stump us. And because it's supposed to be a two-way street. It's not. We were not meant to be abandoned in these bodies and just run around trying to buy houses and pay bills. We're here to have both a physical and a non-physical experience simultaneously of actually a human, taking on a body is something that's actually very much admired by those who are non-physical, because we get to actually get the whole picture and see what it is, out of energetic form, in the form of matter, and what it all looks like. I mean, it's like somebody who codes computers, and then they finally get to see what all these numbers actually look like on a screen. Oh, wow, how beautiful is that picture? I just saw it in code. Now look at this, website. So this is why this skill is super important for mankind. And then for your own personal use, it's amazing because, I know I've built programs and, I price my programs. I get it all from my guides. So there's a sense of peace and a sense of confidence. Sometimes I'm like, are you guys out of your minds? Obviously they're not in my, and they usually are right. They're pretty much always right, unless I get it wrong, like I jump the gun or they're saying as well as I could. So it's all a work in progress. But hopefully that gives you a good basic background. Now, there are ways to protect yourself. All you have to do is ask to be surrounded in white light, to only receive information from the highest of light beings. You can call on Archangel Michael. One of the best ways to start channeling is through writing. I know I've talked about this on the show many, many times. It's called automatic writing, where you ask a question with your dominant hand in your notebook, and then you answer with your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you ask with your right hand, and you answer with your left hand. That's the beginning. You can ask those questions and just start to play with it. And then, read books on it. Esther Hicks has a great story about how she opened the channel. There is a book called Opening to Channel by Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer out there. There's several books on the topic, so you want to research it and hopefully join us in class so we can do this. This is going to be a really, really, really powerful set of classes. Okay, so you can read more about that, ahamomentsworld.com/channel, CHANNEL. All right, so we are going to get to the callers. We have a lot of you on the line. Sam is going to be yelling at me, what are you doing to get all these people to show up for these calls? We have many, many of you on the line. If you want to call in, you can at 347-215-9485. And then some of you like to wait until I say, okay, now we're going to do calls. But we're going first come, first serve. So all of you guys have been on the line. We're going to get to you as best we can. Sam, are you ready for me to take callers? Okay, cool. Donna in California is first. Hi, Donna.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thank you. I have a question. I can sense the spirit sometimes, and sometimes I hear them. And recently, with a lot of love, I had a very bad disappointment, and they forewarned me of it. And then they said, we're going to help you in a very loving voice. And I wanted to know, are they going to help me find my mate or more money? Or, I mean, do you have any inclination on? I should have asked, but they disappear so quickly.
Well, what they want you to do is to, the first thing they're saying is please stop doubting, because, and this is a big message. This is for everybody, okay, Donna, is the guides, whether they're your guardian angels, the spirit guides, or the fairies, or whatever it is you're accessing, are not parents. And we have a tendency, they're not our parents. They don't respond like human
I had a tendency
parents.
to think it was my mother. Yeah.
Right. They're not, and that's why they're telling me to say that to you. They're not parental figures. They're much more neutral, and they really want to have your back. They're not trying to do it so that you do it the right way or the way that's going to make the family look good or prove to them that they were great parents or any of these things. They don't react that way, or you have to do this so then I'll do that. It's not like that. It's not a tit-for-tat situation. What it is a love that we can't even begin to perceive, and a desire that they want. The clearer you are, the better it is, not only for you, but all the people that you're here to support and help, right? So first things first, they want you to not be so, they're saying that you're a little suspicious of them.
Don't know
and that's what sends
in.
the energy away. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just that, no, I believe that it's a real thing happening. Whether my friends believe it or not, it doesn't matter, because I know that it's real, and I do see them and I do hear them. But no, I know it's a real thing. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not so much that it's real or not real, but it's kind of like they just want you to know they definitely have your back, and they definitely want it to be easier for you and happier for you. So the life categories, right now they're saying you're going on what they call the adventure, and that's kind of a title, the adventure. And that's a time where you're getting a changing of the guides, so that's why they feel like they disappear, because you've just sort of up-leveled to another set of guides. And as they come in, the way will be shown. And the way and that's really important, because a lot of times what happens is if you've gone through something really difficult, which it seems like you have, and you kind of come on the other side of it, it feels like now the guides are even gone. Like, what's happening? Like, what's going to happen next? And it's not. You've graduated to the next frequency of guides, so it's harder for you to access, to feel. You're not perceiving the same people anymore. You know what I mean? It's like they wear different perfume, and you're like, wait, my perfume? I can't. I know my scent, but this is a new scent. Oh, okay, and that's kind of how it works. So what they're saying to do is, there's actually new stuff in all of your life categories. So there's the money, the health, the relationships, the even your living situation feels like it's going to change over the next 6 months. But more importantly, they want you to hone these skills that we're talking about here. It's interesting that you're the first one, because you definitely have a channeling contract. You get it. You're right there. But they want you to take it now from the psychic realms, where you're kind of just trying to perceive it, energetically, and start to more deliberately have that communication. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I can't deliberately make it happen. It just happens at different times, different weeks, different months.
What you need to, the way that you do that is to start to show up at one particular time. Like for me, I'm always awake. Now they're doing it to me at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'm on Pacific time now, so it's about the same time as it used to be on the East Coast. But whether it's 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 11 in the morning, whatever, you will, if you say, okay, this is the time I'm going to sit down with my notebook, I'm going to light a candle, and you can have at it. Let me know what you want me to know. And give them a time each day, and they will start to show up at that time for you. And actually, I know for me, I've been doing that for decades, and I'm not allowed to sleep. Like I wake up, and now with this channeling, I've been doing more verbal channeling. I've been using my recorder now instead of just writing. And it's like I start coughing, and it wakes me up, and I'm like, oh, God, here we go. All right. And I get up, I go do my meditation, and I do the recording. So I hope that's helped you a little bit. I have so many callers I have to move on to the next one.
Yes, and thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much, Donna. Take care. Okay, next we have Gigi from California, another Californian. Hello.
Hello, Marie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. I really loved listening from the beginning to your show. It's great information. I feel like I have a channeling contract, but was wondering if you could channel some information insights for me.
Okay, well, I'm not in channeling mode per se, but what I will say is that the biggest message for you is to create a process for yourself. And first of all, it feels to me like your channeling is supposed to apply to something that you're doing either for work or something artistically. The other thing is they want you to know is that for you, you have, there's all different types of channeling. We didn't get into this in the top of the show because, weeks about this stuff. But there are certain people who are artistic channels. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be Picasso, but you will gather information and get your contract to sort of show up more in your physical world if you engage in painting or if you engage in something like a Tai Chi. Do you ever have any lower back pain, like near your waist area or your upper shoulders?
Yes.
Yes, because that's your channeling contract sitting there. It's looking for you to move. One of the things that I'm going to actually be going over in the course, and this is a little tidbit you guys will love, is a lot of us light workers, the special ones, have a problem with extra weight, where you just can't lose it. It's like you can diet and exercise, and it's like what and you've gone through everything. People have even gone through surgeries, and they can't seem to lose the weight. And for most of us special ones, and this is something that was recently channeled to me actually in the last week, it's actually our channeling contract waiting for the energy to push through us. Okay, so that lower back is about a written contract, a written channeling contract, because it's near your arms. It's kind of close to your appendages that can actually write, and that energy can flow through the midsection of your body, right? The upper body, for those of you who are listening, if you have like shoulder, like intermittent shoulder pain, nothing that's chronic that's making you go to get, go to a chiropractor per se, but if you have that kind of tightness, it's close to the throat chakra, and I was getting that, and then I started working with my recorder and channeling, and it's gone away completely. You even start to get a little bit of a sore throat because it's just bottled up energy in your cellular structure, right? So for you, the big message is to start to ask for information while you're moving. It feels like you like to exercise. Do some Tai Chi, some yoga, painting would be really good for you. Brush, even gardening, getting your hands in the dirt a little bit. They also let you know there's some channels who have more of a verbal or written contract, and then there's others who have a healing contract where the healing comes through your hands, like a hands-on healing. You seem to be one of those people. Now, there's other ones who have both, where they do like massage or hands-on, breath, or hands-on healing or hands-off healing, but as soon as they touch somebody's body, they start to get their download, right? That's a really special kind of being, and that you are one of those folks. So I hope that gives you a little direction, but start to move and be willing to write very consistently, and that pain is going to transition into information for you, because it's like they keep storing us. They keep saying, okay, she's got a channeling contract. Okay, let's load it in. Let's load in this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And your physical body is perceiving this load in, and it's saying, oh, okay, that must be fat, because that's how I translate it, because nobody's told me what else this is. And then as soon as we start to allow the information to pour through, there's the storage room empties. So the pain stops, the weight dissolves. My pants started getting looser. I'm not kidding. I know this sounds a little kooky, especially those who kind of stumble into the show and they're not into all this. But
no, that sounds so right on target. Yes, And just the only other question I had regarding what you said was, as far as the hands, you said that I have healing energy in my hands, and that
Tai Chi and journaling. Tai Chi or painting. Or painting or gardening with your hands in the dirt, anything that's going to get your hands moving. Now, obviously, you'll have an energy, you can go and, take massage or craniosacral, any of these things that have, using the heat from your hands, Reiki, that type of thing. If you're not already Reiki attuned, that would help you. Not that you necessarily have to practice Reiki. I happen to be a Jikun and Reiki master, but I don't practice.
Yeah, I have Reiki. I've been Reiki attuned, yes.
Okay, good. So then you're already sort of plugged in. You can run Reiki, and that will get the channeling energy up, because if you're running it with that intention, it's going to get the energy moving, and then some of the sort of aches and quakes in your body are going to just dissipate. I tell you.
Oh, that's great.
It's amazing.
And when I cook, I have to tell you that when I cook and I use my hands, I do feel a lot of healing energy that goes into the food.
Yep. Perfect. That's what they were getting at. But just keep that moving, and that should help you. So I hope that helps. I have a zillion people on the lines. I have to jump off.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Okay, next we have Jory in Philadelphia. Hi there.
Hello, Mari. It's very nice to talk
to
you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
This has been I don't know whether to be really excited or scared out of my mind.
I know, that's exactly what this is about. You're right on target. Really excited is better, though.
Okay, I'll choose to be that for now. And thank you so much for being so grounded, because I could just fly up into the ethers or whatever. But so my thing is, I have for the last couple of years have had really intense back pain at the base of my spine. And I am carrying probably 60 pounds that I don't need and that won't respond to diet or exercise. And I am, just the other day, I made an appointment to go see Lee Carroll when he comes out this way.
Oh, tell him I said hi.
I certainly shall. You are the one who introduced me to him, because I heard him on your show.
Awesome.
And thank you very much for that. The other thing is, Mari, I am so not knowing about this stuff. I feel like a little kid. And I am in this grown-up body that, you know what I mean?
So what's your question?
My question is...
If you had to pick one, just because for the sake of time.
If I had to pick one, I think it's what's the best way for me to remain grounded and move forward without pain?
Well, it's interesting, because I think you're almost too grounded, and that's why you have the pain. Because there's a difference between being grounded and being grounded out. And the grounded out part comes from fear. And it usually houses in the root chakra, because it's survival fear. It's like, okay, and then you end up with kind of weird family issues, lack of support issues, push me, pull you issues with family members, financial ups and downs. And so that's all housing down in the lower part of your body. I wouldn't be surprised if that the weight you're carrying is more pear-shaped, kind of in the lower hip, femur, between the knee and the waist kind of thing. And so two things. One is hot salt baths is what I'm getting for you, with baking soda and Epsom salt and sea salt. Some rose petals for the heart chakra, add in there. Get some fresh rose, treat yourself to a rose or two and throw it in the bath. I would do some hot salt baths a couple times a week with baking soda, fresh box of baking soda. The reason why I say that is all that toxic energy that you're holding will dissipate with the baking soda. You need some aura cleansing, because some of the stuff that you're extraordinarily empathic. and extraordinarily sensitive. And so one of my closest friends is Dane here, and this is his thing, and I'll just bring it up. Is he says, who does this belong to? And I think that's a good question for you to ask, because a lot of the stuff you're carrying, it's kind of like you swallow it, you house it down in the lower region, and then you kind of take the fall. You're the fall guy for the family and extended family and the in-laws and everybody else. And it's time. What you need is creative self-expression, and then your channeling contract, which you have one, my dear, is, again, more of an athletic, artistic channeling contract. What I mean is, when you start to do physical activities, you need to bring a notebook and have it in the park with you, because you're going to start to get downloads as you go. Like, you're good for walking meditations, okay? So if you took, like, guided meditation, like, I don't know if you have any of mine, or, Finea Romans, or, whoever your guided meditation of choice.
Yes. You're
going to put your headphones on and go for a walk and do it as a walking meditation, even though they say don't do this while driving and don't, sit in the chair and all that. Do it as a walking meditation, because a lot of us, when we have physical channeling contracts, the movement is going to allow the energy to go through. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does.
So the salt baths, you need bodies of water. Get yourself to ocean, to the rivers or whatever. I know you can where you are, and bring your notebook, do your walking, take your salt bath, and just make sure you're, again, like I said to Gigi in California, you want to give them a specific time to work with you, and that's going to start to flow. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't get your thyroid checked and all that, all those hormones things, blah, 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 blah. But if you cover this part of it, you can even ask your guides to channel through the doctor to get the right thing for you.
Gotcha.
Okay? Stop. This is my last thing, and then I have to get to the next caller. Stop. Okay? Listen to me. Stop telling your body that it can't do things.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, because I can't.
Okay?
I've been saying to my body, I can't walk. It hurts too much.
Hello.
Yep.
You're commanding the energy, and then your channeled guides can't even get through that, because they can never go against free will. So that's why you shouldn't be scared. But you have to stop telling yourself that you're scared and that you can't do things, because you're locking yourself up, and all of that energy is jamming up against the positive energy, and it's putting the 60 pounds there.
Holy cow, that makes so much sense. Thank you so very much.
Okay, sweetheart. You keep me posted. Okay, we have Sharon. Wait. What do we have here? Sharon Julie in Minnesota. Hi, Julie.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, you're welcome. Tell me your question.
My question is, I have been doing, releases and programs for years. Right. And I never seem to get anywhere. I mean, I feel better, but yet I'm on the verge of losing my home. I mean, things are just nothing's changing, and I don't know, and then I start questioning, I'm doing it wrong, and my head starts taking over. And I'm wondering if you can tell me who my guide might be, or is there someone there that I feel like I can connect with, because I feel so alone.
Oh, I know that feeling, and again, you're another one who's had, you have two things going on. One is that, and I don't like to answer any question with a past life situation, but they're telling me to bring it up. There's a certain amount of persecution you've gone through for solving things energetically in the past. So even though you are solving,
I know.
You're not allowing yourself to receive.
That's exactly
the good parts.
Yep.
And
because I'm not worthy.
Right. And
I mean, I know I am. I know on some level I am, but yet there's that part of me I just don't know how to get through. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing. First of all, stop panicking.
Okay.
Because the panic is buying into that kind of ogre voice that you have. I don't know who that ogre voice is. You know who that person is. It feels female.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And And again, that question, who does this belong to? Does it really belong to me, or does it belong to someone else? And
I know
and so
it doesn't belong to me.
Okay,
yeah, I know
so
it doesn't belong to me, but how do I get rid of it?
Okay, let me just say, okay, the worthiness thing.
Then I get scared.
Well, of course, but you're not letting. Even now, you're not letting it in. I'm trying to help you, and you keep telling me I'm scared. I'm like, okay, I've got like the show is almost over, and I can't get the words out because you keep telling me how scared you are. So, and that's what you're doing to your guides. You're not letting the information come through. It's a one-way conversation. So
yeah.
So here's the thing, money. Okay, because I know that's your biggest thing. Money is also both has the yin and the yang, and has the receptive energy as well. Okay, what you need to do is to focus not on how you're going to get the money. Okay, not on how you're going to get out of the situation. You have to focus on how you're going to feel when it's all finished.
Okay.
And focus on the state. It's called the state of the wish fulfilled. It's the state of the wish fulfilled. This is a big manifesting secret. That's a whole other program I was going to start in October. But the manifesting, and that's another key thing. Once you get through the channeling parts and understand the manifesting starts to actually work. When you go, instead of focus, and this is for everybody, when you're in a situation where you're really afraid, what scares you is that your mental mind can't solve it because you don't have enough information. And your mental mind has the limitation of only knowing what it's been exposed to. That's the only library you have in your mental, physical, incarnate mind. This is why you need channeling, because the information that you need, you don't have yet.
Right.
This is where the journaling comes in. Okay? This is where, even if you have to go to a channel and have a session so they can help you to get the information through because you're so afraid that you're shrieking, I'm scared, somebody help me, somebody help me, somebody help me, but you're going only to the confines of your mental mind for the answers, and it's not there. That's why you're freaked out.
Yeah, no matter what I do, I feel like there's nothing there. Yeah, that's exactly it. It
is there, though, because your guides are trying to bring it forth to you. But what I want you to do is focus on, that appendage point I was talking about at the top of the show, that space between where your neck and your back connect.
Yep.
I want you to, this is how you're going to start to access insight, Insight, I-N-sight, the sight from within. You're running around like a chicken without a head to everything outside of you. Guru, 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 give me the answer, it's not working. I've done all these processes, it's not working. Okay?
Yep. That's me.
So what we're going to do is we're going to stop that.
Okay.
And what I want you to do is I want you to focus on this one little exercise. First of all, I want you to focus on how are you going to feel when your house is fine, you're flush, and you're feeling safe and secure and with more money than you know what to do with. And maybe that's too big of a vision, so with the monies that you need to make you feel calm and peaceful and secure again, Now, that might be in this house, it might be in another house, but whatever it is, because I'm not going to go into psychic information with you because this is really, sweetie, this is right here, this is that near-death experience to get you to start channeling. That's what this is. Okay? That's what this is, because you have that contract. It's right there. So what you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes, and you're going to, we're going to accelerate this a little bit, and you're going to envision a huge ball of white light coming down from behind you into that appendage point, right at that seam where your neck and your shoulders meet, and you're going to hold the vision of the feeling of this situation being resolved, and you're going to ask your guides, what will it take to feel this way? I'm open to receive, and you'll hear it on the podcast, I'm open to receive and willing to accept whatever information you can provide me to help me through this, and resources, and let them fix it. It's right there. They're trying to get you to surrender, to let it in. Because once you do, and it fixes, and you stand on your feet, and you're like, oh, my God, it's real. And once you get it, you're going to be like on fire with it. And I think you actually have a huge contract to do channeling, and I think you're going to be able to help a lot of people. And everyone on this call, I want you to listen closely. This is what happens to all of us at some point as light workers, as these special ones. We hit that life flashing before your eyes, the shame, the drama, the trauma of a whole tribe of people all on one of us, because we're supposed to be out there helping people, and this is how we will ultimately have empathy for others. We're not going to sit in judgment.
You nailed it. That's exactly what I'm feeling. Exactly. I know it's there, and it's just there, but I haven't been able to get there. I get it.
You have to drop down in, and wherever you can go, a park, near a body of water, you're from Minnesota, is that Lake Minnetonka in there somewhere?
Well, yeah, I have a lake by my house, and that's where I go, and that's where I feel safe.
Yep, and that's where you are safe, because that's where that appendage point opened. You didn't know what it was. Instead of focusing on your head, remember, anxiety, okay? This is for everybody listening. Yep. Anxiety is always outside of your head and above you. It's out there. It's outside of you, and you're spinning in an energy. Your truth is always deep down, low, and within. So you can either sink down into the solar plexus by the lake and just say, I'm open, and imagine light coming through that appendage point down into the solar plexus, and that's going to be the translator. You're going to get that appendage point going, so that means your channeling energy is coming in, which is the information to fix it, not the psychic information of whether it's going to work out. Do you get the difference?
I understand that. Yes, that makes total sense, and that's exactly what I needed to hear, because I didn't know what to do. I get it.
Yep. Got it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay. You're so welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're going to be fine. You're welcome. All right. We're going to take one more, and that's going to be Lori from Washington. Hi, Lori.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Well, not that great. I hate my living situation, and I'm lonely, and I'm isolated, and I'm wondering I'm working really hard and everything, trying to downsize and trying to find a place to move to, and I'm just wondering if anything's going to be opening up anytime soon, or if my life's going to get any better anytime soon. Or
Okay, so the last two callers are ditto for you. First things first is you're telling yourself how awful it is. You can even hear it in your voice and your energy, and that piece of it is just fear and kind of this resolution that everything is horrible, and you're looking for that outside sort of magic wand to say it's all getting better, and it's all going to be better by Tuesday, October 15th, and at 4 o'clock, then it's going to shift. And that's not quite how it works. What you're doing, though, is focusing on the how and not the energy and the vision of the what you want to happen. Now, when I say vision what you want to happen or how you want to be, what you're going to do is not so much a visualization. What you're doing, and this is actually also for Julie and the other girls who are on the line, and everybody actually. When I say go into the state of the wish fulfilled, or that state of completion, and we're not talking. When I say state, okay, that's taking on the frequency of the state. Right now, your frequency, your state is, I am a loser. Oh, my God, I'm exhausted. You've got like an acute case of the weary light worker syndrome where you've just like you're on your belly right now. Like kind of crawling along, and oh, my God, and you know what? You can't get anything down there. So the way that you gather the information, the frequency is, first of all, recognize there's a version of you, an aspect of you that's already super successful, back on your feet, living where you want to live, great money, great relationships, all the things you want. It's already there. She's there. She exists within your frequency, within you, choosing to represent as the lower frequency, is this more, victim of circumstance frequency. So the way that you're going to shift this is to do the same exercise I was talking about with Julie, where two things. One is you go into the vision of what it is you want, how you want to feel when it's fixed. And that's not just a vision, it's a becoming that version of you. When I wanted to move to La Jolla and I felt trapped in New Jersey, I would go to the beach and I would sit on a rock and I literally took the compass on my iPhone and I pointed it towards where La Jolla is, like where San Diego is. There's a diagonal line, southwest. And I figured out the compass where I was going for southwest, and I literally envisioned that I was now living in La Jolla. I was meditating from La Jolla looking back towards New Jersey. And within a few weeks, I was here. So, but it was because I became the frequency. Instead of visualizing, oh, someday I'm going to be in La Jolla in a nice house, I became the frequency of the Mari that lives in La Jolla. Then I was like, hey, the Mari, I'd eat dinner, and I'm eating in La Jolla. I'm showering in La Jolla, in my bathroom in La Jolla, and here I am in La Jolla. So that's where you have to go with that. Do not allow yourself to swim around in the misery of the situation you're in right now. Another one, that channeling contract is sitting right there. Invite it in. I'm going to have to jump now. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Hang in there. Keep going. All right?
Okay.
Have a great night. Okay, everybody. I think we have gone over tonight, but I just want to say thank you. This has been, I went over on purpose because I could feel the energy on this call, and I'm really passionate about this topic. It is so important, and you can see these are skills that are going to get you out of those jammed-up situations. This is the stuff that really, it's not about having the answer. It's about having access to all of the information you need for navigating everything. Okay, so I'd love for you to join us in opening the channel course. It's www.ahamomentsworld.com/channel. In the meantime, listen to the podcast. It'll be on Stitcher.com. It'll be here on Blog Talk as well. And, just take it in and think about this. Take in what the girls were, some of the exercises we talked about, and believe in yourself, because all the information is there for you. It may not be in your mental mind. Access it. Ask for it. That's it for tonight. Just know that you truly can have exactly what you want. You absolutely deserve it too. And in